Hello and welcome, my name is Racho, and today I will be covering the Warframe Voruna. Voruna is a Warframe I have honestly admired for a very long time, and I've come up with a lot of different builds for her, but I've never actually had her. I mean, I had her, leveled her, and put her in the helmet, and never bothered getting the second version of her. But now I finally have my second version of her, and I've already come up with two builds for her. One I'll show off in this video, and another one I'll be showing off in our video that will come shortly after. So in this video, we were talking about Voruna's abilities as well as her augments, and obviously we'll explain the build as well. So let's get into it. First of all, Voruna's passive. Voruna's passive works a bit differently from every other Warframe in the game. Voruna doesn't have one set passive. Instead, she has an option to choose between one of 4 different passives. When you first load into the game, she actually doesn't have any passive activated, and one of her 4 different abilities will each offer a different passive that you can change freely without any energy cost throughout the mission as much as you want, but you can only have one activated at any given time. Hold casting the associated ability will give you their passive. Their passives are: the first ability will give you a 50% parkour velocity, the second ability will give you a full 100% status immunity, which is awesome. Her third ability will give you a 100% heavy attack efficiency, and if you don't know what that means, is you'll only consume 1 combo count instead of all of your combo counts when you heavy attack. And her fourth ability will give her a health gate. Whenever she takes lethal damage, she'll become immune to damage for 3 seconds. Her shields and health will be fully restored, and it will then go on a 60-second cooldown. Her first ability is called Shroud of Janur. Shroud of Janur will make Voruna and her companion go invisible. While she's invisible, she will be granted a 100% movement speed buff. The invisibility lasts for 14 seconds, and during this time, she will also gain the following buffs for her melee weapons. The crit and status chance of the melee weapon will be fixed to a set 100%. She will also gain a 2x absolute crit damage buff, meaning it applies as a flat number after mods, and all her melee hits will also force proc slash. Shooting any of her weapons will immediately break the invisibility, and performing a melee attack will break the invisibility after the melee attack animation. However, when your invisibility breaks, you will have a 3-second period where you will maintain the melee buffs that are given through the invisibility. If you manage to get a melee kill within those 3 seconds, the maximum duration of the buffs lingering will then be extended to a further 8 seconds, but this only happens once per cast. If your melee weapon has a higher modded crit or status chance than 100%, which is very easy to do, the game will instead use your weapon's modded crit chance, because otherwise it would lower your crit chance, because it doesn't add 100% to your crit or status chance, it sets that as the flat crit / status chance. But it will use your modded one in case it's over, so you don't get a debuff to your damage. The crit damage buff you get from this ability is affected by strength, but nothing else is. The augment for this ability is honestly kind of more related to her second ability, so we'll talk about it after we explain the second ability. Voruna's second ability will have her launch forward at an enemy and inflict them with 5 unique status procs, each with a stack of 10 of each one. And you can do this as many times as you want, each time applying more and more status effects. It can apply any of the 13 main status types, that being all 13 damage types, all 3 physical damage types, 4 primary elementals, and the 6 secondary elementals. Killing the enemy while it is affected by this ability will have it spread all those status effects that it was affected by to all other enemies within a 7-meter radius. Now that we've explained the second ability, let's go back to her first ability to augment. Her first ability will have her mark a random enemy whenever you are invisible. The marked enemy will take 50% more damage from all sources. Additionally, casting your second ability on the marked enemy will increase the range of the second ability by 150%. Her third ability is called Lycra's Hunt. Lycra's Hunt is a duration-based ability that while it is activated, she will have a 100% enemy health orb drop chance on every melee kill, and a 100% energy orb drop chance on every headshot kill. This basically gives her infinite energy as long as she's running equilibrium. The ability does last for 20 seconds, however, gaining a kill on an enemy that is afflicted by 5 or more status effects will increase the duration of this ability up to 60 seconds, allowing it to basically run forever. Voruna's 4th ability will have her forego her melee and primary weapons, and instead make it so that attacking an enemy will have you launch at them, dealing them slash damage and force proccing slash to the enemy that you directly attack. Additionally, all enemies, including the target enemy within a 10-minute radius, will also be staggered and receive slash damage over time. The ability has infinite duration and doesn't drain any energy, but instead has 5 charges. Using all 5 charges will deactivate the ability. The ability is not an exalted, nor is it a pseudo exalted. It does not count as a melee weapon in the game, nor can it be modded or affected by stat sticks. Things like night wave challenges that require you to get melee kills will not be affected if you get kills with this ability. It is not a melee. However, it does have a set crit chance and crit damage. Its set crit chance is 20% and its crit damage is 1.5. Additionally, using the ability on an enemy that is afflicted with at least one status effect will also increase its damage by 100%. Each time you use one of this ability's charges, its crit chance and crit damage and the damage buff it gets against enemies affected by status effects will increase to a maximum of a 42.5% crit chance, a 1.95 crit damage, and a 100% buff against enemies affected by status effects. This is only possible, however, with the augment, which I will get to in a bit. However, while the ability is not a melee weapon, it does count as a melee weapon for her abilities. What this means is that using your first ability with the ability activated will set the crit chance of the ability to a flat 100%. Additionally, this ability will also be affected by the crit damage buff from her first ability as well, to increase it even more. And kills with this ability will also count as melee kills for Lycra's Hunt, meaning getting kills with this ability will have the 100% health orb drop chance that Lycra's Hunt grants you. The augment for this ability allows the ability to recharge its charges whenever an enemy dies from the bleeding status effect within 20 meters of you while you are attacking an enemy. This allows you to maintain the ability indefinitely and also max out the buffs that you get from the ability each time you use one of the charges. So this first build I have to show you in this video is a build for a 4th ability. It is a purest Voruna build, you could say. We were using obviously her 2nd ability passive to give us 100% status immunity, which is a massive buff and a very powerful effect. We will be doing our primary DPS with her 4th ability with the augment. The way the gameplay works is very simple. We just activate our first ability to maintain invisibility throughout the entire mission, as your 4th ability will not break the invisibility. You will blink in and out of the invisibility when you attack an enemy. By this I mean launching at an enemy with your 4th ability activated will disable your invisibility, but after attacking the enemy, your visibility will be activated again. This works the exact same way for her 2nd ability as well, but you will be able to maintain invisibility throughout most of the mission, providing you with all the survivability you need. And simply all we do will be priming enemies with her 2nd ability and then immediately using our 4th ability to kill that enemy and spread all those status effects to a large area. And we will be able to do quite a lot of damage and kill enemies quite effectively, especially once all of our damage buffs and our damage effects have been stacked up through our abilities. The ability, this setup doesn't actually run any helmet, which is why it's kind of a Voruna purist setup. And it uses all of her abilities in at least some way in order to actually benefit from this build. If you really wanted to put on a helmet though, I would recommend something like Raw and probably get rid of the 3rd ability. I am using a 3rd ability for energy economy, as it will supply me with infinite health orbs, which will also give me infinite energy with equilibrium. But you could outsource energy economy from somewhere else and use Raw instead, which would give you more damage from your 4th ability, but it doesn't necessarily need more damage, but that's up to you. Now for the build itself, first of all, Arcane Impetus. Arcane Impetus is an arcane that came with the new Warframe 1999 update. And it, for most Warframes, is pretty bad. The way it works is you get 6% ability strength and 3% ability efficiency for every unique status effect your ability supplies. Most Warframes in the game can't apply that many status effects to their abilities. Voruna, however, can apply 13, and very easily. Additionally, afflicting an enemy with a status effect with an ability, regardless of if it's a new status effect or not, will reset the duration of Arcane Impetus, making it so that you just need to cast your 2nd ability once every 20 seconds to have a complete uptime on this ability. And with 13 stacks of this arcane, you will get a 78% power strength buff really easily without literally any concern at all. We're also running Multi Augmented, which will give us up to a 60% power strength buff after we get 250 kills. Besides that, the only power strength mod we're actually using is Blind Rage to increase our power strength by 90%. We are using Overextended, which does lower our strength, but with the strength we're getting from Mod, Augmented, Arcane Impotence, and Blind Rage, this doesn't matter at all. And also Overextended does increase our range, paired with Stretch for even more range. This is a very big buff as we want to be able to affect as many enemies as possible with Ulfric's Descent, as well as Fanes of Vraska. Ulfric's Endurance is the augment for our 4th ability, which is obviously very important, and we are using Prime Continuity and Nero's Hatred for some ability duration. Obviously, Nero's Hatred isn't the ideal mod. I actually originally did this because of former choices that I made for my other build that I have going on, but I'm now seeing that I can go for Augur Message and still have enough mod capacity. So go for Augur Message instead because it will give you more duration. We then obviously have Primed Flow for energy economy, and the Aura mode doesn't matter, you can run whatever you want. For the companion, you can obviously run whatever you want. I am, however, going for the Panzer Phyla for some additional viral priming, and also so I can make use of Midas Symbiosis, which will give you a health gauge for some just additional survivability. We have Viral Quills and also Panzer Devolution, which are Panzer Phyla's 2 abilities, which gives you viral priming and also extra survivability for the Panzer. Since Deconstruct for extra health orb drops, Tendon Bond isn't doing anything for this build, but I do reuse my companion build, so that's why that is there. Tenacious Bond is the same deal as Tendon Bond. Hydro Recovery will give us some healing, but isn't really needed for this build either, but it does give us some healing, some additional survivability. Medipet Kit is for the companion survivability along with Link Vitality, and Fetch is a must-have mod. The Panzer Claws are using Protective Posture to force proc the puncture status effect on all enemies that it hits, which not only gives us priming, but it also makes it so enemies are that enemies' damage output is lowered and also have a 20% crit chance buff against them. We are also running Ballerina, which will force proc for impact procs, but they are converted to magnetic procs through Magnetic Strike, which will increase the damage due to enemy shields and also Overguard. Bite will increase its crit chance, crit damage, Swipe for some additional attacks. Shock and Claws will increase the status chance and convert its elemental damage into electric, while Precision Conditioning will convert its damage into slash and give it a big base damage buff. And Call of the Week basically acts as condition overload for companions. For the additional weapons, they are just utility weapons you can run for wherever you want. I would recommend a rifle with Amalgam Serration for some extra sprint speed, any secondary you want with Amalgam Barrel Diffusion for some extra rolling speed, and I would recommend Praetos for the sprint speed plus slide, Evolution 2, and also the parkour velocity you get from Evolution 4. With the Focus School, you can also run whatever you want. I'm simply just using Xenorex so I can get my energy topped up at the start of the mission, so I have enough energy to set up my damage rotation, but it really doesn't matter. Neramon is the only one that won't be useful because it's not a melee setup, so you don't need melee strike, and Neramon isn't useful outside of melee builds, but any of the other ones can give you some buffs. Xenorex for energy economy, Vazarin for survivability and grouping, Yunaru for armor stripping, and Matarai for casting speed and power strength buff. Anyway, that is all for this video. I will be making another Voruna video pretty shortly on another build I have for her, which takes a bit more to explain. There's a bit more going on with the build, but it's really fun and very visually pleasing. And so and I can't promise that it will be my next video. It might be my next video, but I might also do a different video next time. Not sure. But regardless, go check out some of my other videos. Leave me a comment if you want to see me make a video on any particular Warframe that you're particularly interested in, or go through my pre-existing videos. I may have already done a video on a Warframe that you're interested in. And check out some of my other videos anyway if you like this video, and subscribe to my channel, give me a like, and until next time, bye bye.